Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the noise to find the signal. Today, we're looking at a really critical moment in a major federal trial. We're talking about the Shondaanda de Combs case specifically, the jury deliberations that are happening right now, federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Our mission really is to help you understand what's emerging from that deliberation room. What is the jury asking for? What does that tell us?
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut. We'll go through the reports, particularly from day 2 of deliberations, Tuesday. We want to highlight what testimony the jury is focusing on because that tells you a lot about the massive task they have ahead of them.
And it is massive. Just a quick reminder of the charges Combs, who's 55, faces. He's pleaded not guilty, but the charges are racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, basically alleging he arranged travel for sex workers across state lines.
And the defense position has been pretty consistent throughout. No conspiracy. And his actions, they argue, didn't actually violate federal law.
Right. So those are the stakes. But our focus today, our real deep dive, is trying to get inside that jury room, metaphorically speaking. What are their questions telling us? What evidence is really weighing on them right now?
Well, let's set the scene. It's a jury of 8 men, 4 women. Tuesday, July 1st, was their second day deliberating. They didn't reach a verdict on Monday, and actually Monday wasn't entirely quiet either. There were several notes from the jury.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, one was pretty striking. Several jurors raised concerns about another juror. They believe this person, quote, cannot follow your honor's instructions.
Wow, that's significant. How did the judge handle that?
Judge Aaron Subramanian addressed it directly, reminded all the jurors of their duty to follow the laws he instructed, and sent them back to deliberate, reinforcing the rules.
Okay. And was there anything else from Monday?
Yes. There was also a specific question about the charges. It related to one of the alleged racketeering acts, specifically, possession with intent to distribute drugs.
Ah, okay. That ties into the broader racketeering conspiracy charge, right? Racketeering often involves proving a pattern of different alleged crimes.
Exactly. So this drug allegation is one piece of that alleged pattern. The judge basically reminded them of the instructions he'd already given on that point.
And I heard there was some friction over that response between the judge and the defense.
Reports indicated a, let's say, testy exchange.
Yeah.
Over how the judge answered that jury question. It just shows how high the stakes are. Every detail matters.
Absolutely. Every instruction, every clarification is under intense scrutiny. But what seems really revealing is what happened on day 2, on Tuesday, what they asked to review.
That's right. The big development was their request to rehear specific testimony from Cassie Ventura.
Combs' former longtime girlfriend, and arguably one of the prosecution's most critical witnesses.
Definitely. And they weren't vague. They asked for very specific parts of her testimony.
Okay, like what?
First, they wanted to review her account of the incident at that Los Angeles hotel back in 2016.
Right, the alleged beating, kicking, dragging, that incident.
Exactly. And crucially, that's the one where security camera footage later emerged, the footage that went viral.
Yes, we remember that. Combs issued an apology after that video came out. So they want to rehear her specific words about that event.
Correct. And that wasn't all. They also asked for her testimony about an incident at the Cannes Film Festival in France back in 2013.
Cannes. What happened there, according to her testimony?
But she testified that Combs accused her of taking drugs from him, kicked her off their yacht.
Off the yacht? Wow.
And then she testified on the way back to the U.S., he threatened her. Threatened to release explicit videos of her having sex.
Good grief. So the L.A. hotel beating and the Cannes yacht incident with the threat. Really specific, powerful moments. Why these two, do you think? Is it just about checking facts?
It could be more than that. When a jury asks for specific incidents like these, especially involving alleged violence and threats, it often suggests they're trying to establish key legal elements. Things like a pattern of activity for the racketeering charge, or the element of coercion, which is central to sex trafficking.
So they might be seeing if these individual events fit into a larger picture the prosecution painted, like a system of control.
Possibly. Racketeering especially requires proving a continuing criminal enterprise, not just isolated bad acts. They might be assessing if her testimony supports that kind of sustained pattern, looking for that connection.
Okay, that makes sense. And wasn't there a third piece of testimony they wanted? Something involving another person?
Yes. They asked to review testimony about an incident in a New York City hotel, and they wanted to hear about it from both Cassie Ventura and another witness, a stripper named Daniel Phillip.
Daniel Phillip. Okay, what was his account?
Phillip testified that he was in an NYC hotel room for a sexual encounter with Ventura sometime between 2012 and 2014. He said he suspected Combs was assaulting her in an adjacent room, heard slapping and slamming. Then, he testified, Ventura suddenly jumped into his lap. And his description was pretty harrowing. He said, quote, her whole entire body was shaking, like she was terrified.
Terrified. Wow. Did he say anything to her?
He did.
Yes.
He testified. He asked her why she stayed with Combs if he was hitting her, told her she was in real danger.
And what did she say, according to Phillip?
He said she, quote, basically tried to convince me that it was okay, it's okay. I'm fine, I'll be okay.
Just trying to downplay it. That's quite a scene they're reviewing. Both perspectives on it.
Yeah, focusing on that interaction, her state, his perception, her response. It's incredibly detailed.
So how are they actually reviewing all this? Do they just get transcripts?
They have more than that.
Yeah.
They were given a laptop, and it's loaded with all the trial exhibits.
All of them. So texts, photos.
Everything shown in court. Text messages, photographs, even those videos of sexual encounters that were part of the evidence. It's all there for them to access.
Imagine sitting in that room with a laptop full of, well, 7 weeks worth of evidence. Some of it described as incredibly graphic and emotional testimony.
It's an immense amount of material. Testimony about alleged violence, about Combs' sexual preferences, these alleged drug-fueled encounters called freak-offs or hotel nights. It's a lot to process.
A huge burden for any jury. And there are 5 alternate jurors just waiting, right? Which kind of highlights how long and complex this whole thing has been.
Absolutely. And the intensity of this task. You really can't overstate it. They're wading through this sea of information, but then zooming in, honing in on these specific, very impactful moments from Ventura's testimony, from Phillip's testimony.
It's more than just procedure, isn't it? These requests feel significant.
Oh, definitely. It gives us a window, a glimpse into what they're wrestling with, what core evidence is proving difficult or perhaps pivotal. Sometimes juries revisit testimony to clarify facts, sure. But often it's about trying to resolve disagreements within the jury room. Or maybe they're searching for something subtle they missed, a nuance in the testimony that could shift their understanding of intent, of credibility. It's about building towards consensus on these incredibly complex charges.
It really underscores the power of individual stories, individual accounts within the massive legal machinery of a trial like this. So here's something to think about as we wait. When a jury meticulously asks to relive testimony, focusing so tightly on alleged violence, on coercion, on these moments of fear, what does that tell you about how they're weighing truth, how these specific moments might ultimately shape their understanding of a 7-week trial? Something to ponder.